Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
By default, it would be in C drive of the VPR server. I'll go to Param Data C drive program data and V. Here I'll have something called as in the backup job. I'll see all these folders with the backup job names. I will pick up this VBAP sphere, tiny. This is my VMware job. Double click on it. You will see these many log files here. Agent path. What I would do is I would try to pick up this agent packer. There would be a lot of entries. You need not go and look to a lot of entries. We'll try to read from the bottom. I'll minimize this. Basically, this would be the log file agent on VDK helper log file. We would be referring this to find out which transport mode is being used. Once you have access to your VBR server, then we can start the practice. We can trigger a backup job and we'll see which transport mode is currently being used. We'll take a quick, 5 to 10 minutes of break. And we'll initiate the vSphere backup and find out how the transport modes are being used. You had a question. I can see your screen. The job 4% completed. Let's see if we are able to find the transport mode from the logs. Are you seeing anything from the screen itself? Just minimize this from the backup activity log. It just says processing, but we are not seeing anything which gives an idea on which transport being used. vSphere Tiny, 4% at the left-hand side. Can you just highlight vSphere Tiny? It says 5% completed. Just highlight that. Yeah, I can see. Can you tell me where exactly is that? Entry which talks about the transport mode. I can see it. Can you see it? Using backup proxy game. Saving that. No, I don't know. Using backup proxy VMware backup hard disk, you see in the brackets what it is mentioned. NBD means it's backing up over network, your local area network. When it is NBD, what happens? Reads the information directly from the VMware data store. The read and write operation happens at the VMware side. I can check this from any running job, isn't it? Any running job. Just compare this with. It will make more sense to me, to be honest, if I check. If your environment is enterprise level, then they will most probably use indirect storage. The 3 jobs are running at the moment. I'm working on one screen hard too. B1. And I'm just. It doesn't show up anything far. Is it just choosing? That's fine. I will have a look at this one. This is. You're able to see it. It's still the one. The job I chose is still not showing up that bit yet. How many nodes are currently in progress? 31 jobs are running at the moment. I will keep an eye on that. This is one way of finding out about the transport. Second is, from the log files, go to C drive and go to program data. Program data folder would be hidden by default. We'll pick up backup vSphere Tiny. My word. And we'll hope first we'll open the log file which says. The second one says agent.vmdk. Will open that. Now here try to search for entries like you can. Check for MVD. I am someone. It's changed the format to word wrap in the top. Change the format of the. No. Click on format the top word wrap. Yes, now find for NB. Click on it again, find next. Wait here, you see it says available transport modes. Rasa note at MVDSSL NBD. These are the 4 options. Scroll down. Woman. You see it says creating Veeam connection. Do you see that entry? It in the. Not really. The connection is correct. Do you see it says transport? It's using NBD if you read the complete line. This is one way of finding which transport mode is being used. How important is really in terms of troubleshooting? Is it something It's very important, very critical for troubleshooting. See the transport modes in the heart of your VM backups are. We are dependent on transport modes. Whether it is performance issues, or whether it is backup failure, or whether it is snapshot related issues. Very important. Because hot at transport mode, there are some bugs. Software bugs where the backup would happen, but after the backup the snapshot deletion does not happen. The customer would complain that his backups are being performed, but the snapshots are not getting deleted. The company number. Do you know how the backup, what happens in the background when you initiate a backup? I'm not talking about the transport mode, but how I know that if you get to know about that, then you know this. Transport modes will also make sense to you. We would have to look. We will. We'll find out what happens in the background. This is your clear about how to find out the transport moderate. I'll share my screen. Let's say this is my VM. This called as test. Test VM has C drive and it has D drive. in VMware each disk or drive is treated as which means virtual machine disk file. What happens when you create a virtual machine is it will create VMDK files with the name of the virtual machine, for example. The name of the virtual machine is test VM. What it does is it will create this becomes my C drive. It will create one more file like one.vmdk, something like this. This becomes my D drive. When the backup happens, it will process these VMDK files. It can happen parallelly, or it can happen one by one. Let me show you how the configuration is in my VM. I'll pick up this one VM1. This is one of my virtual. Let's say I'm trying to back up this virtual machine. R will pick up vSphere-tiny. Click vSphere-tiny. Edit settings. This is my hard disk, which is my C drive. You see how it is the disk file. It says vSphere-tiny, which is my name, hyphen 002.vmdk. If I create one more file, it will. If I add one more hard disk, new standard hard disk, go to Edit Settings. You see, it would be stored in this format, whatever disk. Your additional disk you created, the extension would be .vmdk. Before that, you will see the name of the vmin. It can be _1. If you create one more hard disk, it would be _2, _3, _4. Like that. And this is specific to VMware in Hyper-V. It is the extension would be VHD or AVHD. Concept is the same, only the extension will change. Whatever data you store, whatever changes you make, it will be stored in this VMDK files. And how do we find out it would be stored here? For example, this is my VMware data store. If I browse this data store browser, vSphere-tiny, this one, you see that here am I. CVK 2. It would be stored like this. It stores the information here. You see the CTK that is called a CBT. This will track the changes. Whatever changes are happening, it will create one file. You need not get deep into it, but I'm just giving you a basic idea. That whenever you see something called as VMDK and vWare backup, You should think that it is your VMware disk backup C drive or D drive. Even in the logs, if you open the VBR server, I will trigger a job from here. The job is already running here. You can see for this hard disk 1 in B. Hard disk 1 which is 16 GB. It is not giving you the VMDK file name, but it is saying that there is only one hard disk on this virtual machine which is of 16 GB size. And we are trying to back it up using NBD. But in the logs you will see VMDK. If I search for vmk.vmdk, here I will see a lot of VMDK files here. What happens during the backup is how these transport modes can affect. During the backup, what happens is, it will create an additional VK. It will create a file like this test. I have 10000 1 and all the read operations are all the read and write operations. Sorry, all the write operation would be redirected to this file. Write operations. Let's say if a backup is in progress and user wants to make some changes to the test, the changes will not happen on the files which are already there on the VM, but it is creating an additional VMDK file. All the write operations would be stored here once the backup completes. This VMDK would get merged with the parent VMDK file and this will be deleted. This is the backup process. Why are we creating an additional VMDK file during the backup? Is because if the write operations and read operations happening at the same time on a single VMDK file, it can affect the productivity or the production environment. That's the reason we will create an additional VMDK file and back up the data. And after the backup, we are merging it with the parent VMDK file. Let's see here if it created. Currently, a backup job is in progress. Let's go ahead and check. vSphere Tiny Edit Settings. You see, currently, you're seeing anything like 5 zeros and a number. Then it's a snapshot file. It's very important. No one, knows about this, or most of the people. You get confused and finding out. If it's a snapshot file or a parent VMDK file, the best way to find out is the 5 zeros and the number. Currently, all the operations are happening on this. It created this VMDK file and it will get merged. Once the backup completes automatically, this should be gone. If it is not going, then it will affect the storage, because those additionally created VMDK files will take up the space. If I go to Data Store browser here, Visfini, these are these snapshot files. The one with the zeros. 5 zeros are the snapshot file after the backup completes. This should be deleted as per the backup process. If these are not getting deleted, then there's a problem. You see, this is the parent VMDK file. Parent VMDK file will look like this, the vmm.vmdk. What do you see? How many VMDK files it is creating here? It is creating this R8001. These are the snapshot files. The backup, if it is not clearing correctly, then that means the jobs are not failing, but the storage takes more storage. Correct. If those under the snapshot files are not getting cleared, what happens is it will affect the customer's VMware environment. It may not affect the backup job, but later on it may affect the backup jobs where it would fail to create a snapshot. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.